I'm just finishing my third term as chief. We've been part of leadership for a lot of generations, and they've talked a lot over the years about the struggles of our people and how we can overcome and how we can reclaim our place. So it's nice to be able to be in this role now, taking all that information that I learned and incorporating that into the work that I do now.
There's a lot of our population of our community that lives off reserve, and leadership and housing's position is that we want to bring as many people home as we can, but that is a challenge to provide the amount of housing that's needed for that.
We started doing a call out to our community members, asking them what type of housing they needed, what they wanted to see in housing, what their needs were. We ask anybody that's interested whether they would like to have their name submitted to be chosen for an on-reserve housing allocation.
We recognize that there are needs in our housing area, and we do what we can to make everybody comfortable and provide them with those basic necessities. So housing is something that's really important to us.
I feel our biggest need at the present time is changing up to ensure that we meet some of the needs of our elders. We want to make sure that not only are they comfortable, they can still see the lake, they can still see the trees, they can still practice their culture and have a nice place to live.
Living in the city, it's not very interactive. I wanted to be around my family. I was raised here on the reserve, so I want to raise my kids here. And I applied 2 different times within 3 years, and I was finally accepted.
The systems and the policy development and the entrenchment by the council have really allowed for the flourishment of the whole housing program, and it's really done a tremendous job in being able to allow the whole First Nation to run more efficiently.
I've been here as a tenant liaison for 2.5 years and have gained an enormous amount of experience. We always stress the importance of attending our basic home maintenance workshop. We'll go through basically what the bank does with somebody who goes in to obtain a loan. We'll see the extra monies they have, and we will do a repayment agreement with them. I will then advocate for them.
We developed a really good team, and our team is made up of a lot of administration, but as well as the political level is also involved extensively.
I would say probably 80 to 90% of the contractors that we have working in our new construction are band-owned businesses that employ band members. So we have a lot of certified people, a lot of experienced band members that work on the units.
At any given time, I'm managing up to at least 40 guys. When we first started off, we all went through a training program to build these, and has every year.
Well, yeah, it's exciting finding something happening out here. Before we had nothing before. So at least they're getting work for your local people around, so it's pretty good.
I don't even know how many homes have gone up in the last even 10 years, and I think it's bringing a lot of community members back to the reserve and surrounding area.
The house that we were building years ago to the house we're building now, it is a big change. We're actually building our 2,000 homes now. The houses are built a lot stronger. They're a lot healthier homes that we're living in, and they're affordable homes, nice homes, and they're really, really well built.
We built, close to 100 homes over the last 5 years, which is a big increase to any community because it's not one person per home. There have been a lot of families who have lived here for a long time whose children and grandchildren are coming home now, which is great for our community because we're expanding that base and that community feeling of having more of our members home.
Now there's a lot more parks and a lot more kids. The community seems to be getting along better, there's a lot more homes, so a lot more things to do and people to interact with.
We've been able to accommodate the change, and it just seems like everybody really wants to be a part of our community.
Like when the jobs are done, and I see the way the house looks, I see people moving in and smiles on their face. I'm proud. I'm really happy that I got the opportunity to do this.
I really like this reserve. It's quiet and a lot of friendly people, so I plan to stay here for a long time. We're back home now and it feels good.
things are growing and things are changing and things are getting better.